Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Tasya Handayani. I'm from class English and Language Education K1. My lecture, Mem Dewi Novita, SPD NPD. Here I will presentation my CCU achievement with the title Material of Intercultural Communication. Communication has always been an important need of all societies. Since the time of our self-delivered ancestors, people have been communicating in different ways. Communication can be defined as an exchange of meanings that involves the sending and receiving of information between a sender and a receiver. This happens not only through the use of words, but also through nonverbal factors, such as gestures and facial expression. The message received can be very different from the message was sent. The common model for communication is shown in figure below. 1. Source. The source is the person with an idea or she desired to communication. 2. Encoding. Unfortunately, or perhaps fortunately, humans are not able to share thoughts directly. 3. Message. The term message identifies and encoding is the process to forward the message in the resulting object. 4. Channel. The term channel is used technically to refer to the means by which the encoded message is transmitted. Today is a colored media. 5. Noise. The term noise technically refers to anything that distorts the message the source encodes. Noise can be on many forms. External noise can be the sight, sound, and other stimuli that draw your attention away from the message. Internal noise refers to your thoughts and feelings that can interfere with the message. Semantic noise refers to no alternative meaning of the source symbol can be distracting. C. Receiver. The receiver is person who attends to the message. 7. Decoding. Decoding is the opposite process of encoding and just as much as an active process. 8. Receiver response. It refers to anything the receiver does after attempting to uncode the message. 9. Feedback. It refers to that portion of the receiver response of which the source has knowledge and to which the source attends and assigns meaning. 10. Context. Generally, context can be defined as the environment in which the communication takes place and which help define the communication. Generally, in communication, we seek to reduce uncertainty. Communication with strangers involves relatively greater degrees of uncertainty due to the difficulty in predicting a stranger's response. We experience uncertainty with regard to the stranger's attitudes, feeling, and belief. We are also uncertain of how to explain the stranger behavior. Motivation to reduce this uncertainty is more accurate when they expect to have a further interaction with the stranger, and when they are a potentially source of benefit. A. Barriers to intercultural communication. 1. Attitude. Simple cases. A. Globalization means that there is no one business culture everywhere in the world. B. If they want to do business with me, then they'll have to adapt to my culture. C. When in Indonesia, do ask the Indonesian too. D. It is impossible to generalize cultures. There are many differences. E. Today I work with Indonesian. Tomorrow I'll meet my American partners. F. What I need when I got bored is a list of do's and don'ts. Intercultural training just confirms stereotype. 2. Perception. The fact that people perceive the same thing in different ways is particularly important in intercultural communication. The way we perceive is culturally determined, and the general lack of our awareness of this is another barrier to intercultural communication. 3. Stereotype. A stereotype is a fixed idea or image that many people have a particular type of person, thing, or event, but sometimes it is not true in reality. Generalization and categories are necessary, but when they are too rigid, they can be a barrier to the effective interpretation of a situation. 4. Interpretation. What is the problem in this situation? A Japanese businessman is negotiating with an Australian partner. Chan. The deal will be very difficult. Andrew. Well, what can I help to solve the problem, Chan? This is the case of misinterpretation in which two people have interpreted the same statement in completely different ways. From the Japan, Chan, the message was quite clear. For him, the statement that it would be very difficult means that would be no deal. He expressed this indirectly to be polite and to avoid loss too fast. The Australian, not being aware of this, thought that there were some problems that could be resolved. Godikans in Gibson, 2000, suggests 3 ways of checking our interpretation of other people's behavior. 1. Perception checking. 2. Listening effectively. 3. Giving feedback. 5. Culture shock. Culture shock is precipitated by the anxiety that results from losing all our familiar sign and symbol of social intercourse. 6. Nonverbal behavior. While language is the primary means of communication, nonverbal behavior also communicates. Nonverbal patterns include gestures, facial expression, eye contact, body movement, touching, and the use of space and time. Gestures are an obvious source of misunderstanding because they may have different meanings. B. Cultural learning. At the lowest level is the belief that all people are alike. Then come a recognition that three are different, and acceptance of the difference, same way of synthesizing the different ways, selecting and making things run smoothly. C. Dealing with differences. Use the following statement to reflect on how well suited you are to be an international student or employee. How many are to you? 1. I am a sociable person and have a lot of friends. 2. I enjoy travel and learning about new culture. 3. I always have been good at learning language. 5. I enjoy dealing with ambiguous situations. 6. I prepare to change plan according to what happens. 7. I'm a good listener. 8. I can cope with stress. 9. I have experience working abroad. 10. I have partner or family who is or are also keen in living abroad. D. Improving intercultural communication. It is essential that people research the culture and communication conviction of those whom they propose to meet. They will minimize the risk of making the elementary mistake. 1. Break the assumption. 2. Empathy. 3. Involve. 4. Discourage herd mentality. 5. Avoid incentive behavior. Well, the end my presentation, CCU assignment with the detailed material of intercultural communication. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.